I was born in Mozambique, a beautiful country in Southeast Africa. It used to be a Portuguese colony. I was fortunate to be born in a family that came there many generations ago, and I grew up in an environment where we had a lot of rental properties, lots of rental income properties. We also did construction. And in 1974, the government of Portugal changed. They went from a pure capitalistic society, and overnight on April 25th, they had some military coup in Portugal, some nonsense like that, and they became communist. As a result, Portugal turned their own army on us, and on September 13th, 1974, we left behind everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything, even furniture, the works, cars, houses, everything. Jumped on one of the cars that we had and drove to South Africa together with my parents. So we basically started from scratch. I went from having the most expensive toys and knowing Europe, I know Europe since a small child, and going into a place where suddenly even an air ticket became expensive. Even a little Matchbox car was expensive, so that was tough. The tougher part was dealing with kids that were in a different environment. They were in the public school system, which I obviously had to go to. That was very tough. But I quickly grew a very thick skin. So by the time I was 12, I was already prefect at school. I was also the Scholar Patrol captain, which was great. So that was pretty cool. And at the same time, I was lying about my age and started learning all about sales. How did I do that? I went to a local newspaper and I was selling newspaper subscriptions after school, door to door. And I soon found out the subtleness of I guess, the way people think and act. And then I took full advantage of that. Because then I realized, okay, they're looking at a little child, selling them a subscription. How can they say no to this? So I was the one selling the most newspaper subscriptions ever. That was the Pretoria News. That was so cool. I was so happy for that. So even then, you know, we lost everything, we did everything, but I was the kid that always had money. Yeah. At 15, I lied again about my age and I joined a supermarket called the OK Bazaars. They were actually very, very large, lots of cashiers. And the day I turned 16, which was the first day that I should be allowed to work there, I was actually already the student supervisor at the cashiers and running inventory. Back then we would run inventory by hand, you know, on Saturday afternoons after the supermarket closed. So that was really cool. I always thought that was so cool because now you learn about inventory taking and all these things that excited me. And that was great. By the time I was 16 and doing that, I had saved enough money to start my own little business, which was actually a cabinetry business. I rented the garage in the back of a house, and I was basically selling, looking after the purchasing, and I bought all the machines and everything cash with my own money that I had saved as a student. Thereafter, I was at university, I did mechanical engineering, and then I was very fortunate to work for a great company called ASEA. It's a Swedish company. They moved me then from South Africa to Portugal, from Portugal to Canada, from Canada to Sweden, and I had this great career with them. During that time too, I developed a very nice piece of software, which I have the rights to. With the software then, I went to Siemens, which was a direct competitor, as a consultant. My wife and kids were in Canada back then. From Sweden they came to Canada and I was doing the job in Portugal. That's when I bought some land in a very well-to-do area. It was a closed condominium where a lot of the soccer players were buying houses then. And I built 2 houses. And I realized, man, this is such a nice business. It's also fun because you're dealing with people, you're dealing with a thing that actually the work in progress is stationary. Coming from an environment like that into this was so much fun. And it's all about organization, just like in manufacturing. With this, I love investing in multifamily. One of the things we did, and I learned from small in Mozambique, was really collecting rent. I used to love that. I used to go with my uncle. We used to own complete streets, both sides. And I remember him with his little ledgers and everything. So I invest in multifamily because I really enjoy it. I also have a good stake in a car company in Portugal that's doing really very well. And it's just a perfect stage. We just got a brand new granddaughter, the very first one. Of course, she's spoiled like there's no tomorrow, and I love spoiling her. But I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, because if I had stayed in Mozambique, I don't know what I would have been like. The one advice I would give my grandkids is to do what they enjoy, but making sure that it's something that you really enjoy. I mean, if you want to do a PhD in history, make that your hobby. Once you've established yourself and you are proud of yourself and your achievements, then yes, you want to do history, go do history. Enjoy it. I like to go to the beach. That's what I do. I like to drive nice cars. I do it. But first things first. And I think one's financial freedom is really the most important thing that one should attain. And that's what I would impart onto my grandkids. Get your financial freedom, understand what you do, and feel passionate about something that's going to get you that financial freedom, understand money, and then give back as well. We also give a lot of what we make. For example, with the Princess Margaret, by now we must have given well over $1 million, more like $1.2 million, $1.3 million so far as a family. And I'm very proud of that. It's a cause that is really close to our hearts, and that's what we do.